Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of the podcast. My name is Juan, here as always with Marc and Kevin, my trusted and loyal allies. And we certainly do like movies. That's why we're gathered here today to discuss the latest film that we have set our eyes upon. It is my choice. It is called Mindhorn. It is available on Netflix, and it is a film directed by Sean Foley and starring Julian Barratt as the titular character Mindhorn, who is a character played by the actor in the film, um, Richard Thorncroft. This was his famous character of a British cop drama a la Tom Selleck. In the 80s with the mustache and everything. But now it's present time. I think the series got canceled after about 3 seasons. And Richard Thorncroft, his acting career has not fared very well after this. Um, then, in a twist of fate, he gets a call, where his agent gets a call, because there is a serial killer on the loose, and one of his demands is to speak with the character that he thinks is real, which is Mindhorn, who the actor Richard Thorncroft played. So since he's got nothing better to do, he goes to that place, which is the Isle of Man in England, and he works with the police to basically try to catch this killer, um, while kind of playing the fake version of himself from the TV series, and the action goes off from there. So yeah, who wants to go first?
Oh, it's your
Yeah,
pick, bud, so
yeah,
that's
you.
on you.
I was tired of talking. Okay.
Well, feel free to say pass. I mean,
I thought
I'll
you were gonna
talk about
segue.
it.
I thought you were gonna segue right into your thing. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you did. I did forgot Marc did pass on that one time. No, I'll do it. So I did mention to you guys that I had to watch this one twice. The first time, I was just really tired and fell asleep a few times. And I really like. It really wasn't. I wasn't enjoying it too much. That was probably part of it, but part of it too was because I was tired. But the second time around, I was a lot, fresher. There was a lot more pep in my step,
Uh-huh.
and I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. The characters were charming. There's a lot of dry kind of wit, and humor in it, which I like. You guys already know my affinity for the Brits, so that was right up my alley. But and I just thought I'll share later, like the point where I really thought the movie kind of jumped up a notch even. um so yeah, overall it wasn't necessarily like rolling on the floor, laughing, but it definitely had good moments. It's definitely humorous, definitely made me chuckle a lot. Some great cameos, very comedically low budget in some parts, and yeah, I thought the story was simple, but enough to kind of carry the characters along, which again I really liked, and particularly Mindhorn, or Richard Thorncroft, and then my MVP of this film was
Say
Clive.
it,
Uh,
Clyde.
Dude, Clive was amazing. We'll talk more about him, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked it, and I thought perfect at an hour and a half. It's right where a solid comedy needs to be.
Hmm. Okay.
Yes. I go next, or you want to go,
No,
Mark?
go for it. Go for it.
Okay. um, All right, wait, Juan. When you first picked this movie, I didn't know what to think because I literally have never heard of this movie in my life. Like I did, I was like, "What in God's name did he pick?" Um, this movie was such a great ode to old '80s TV shows. It had like this nice, whimsical charm running underneath this rather basic plot. But even the fact that the plot was rather basic had a certain charm to it. And I will say this: the Gringa payoff was both the most ludicrous and entertaining bit of cinema I have seen in a while.
Jenga.
It's Jenga. Oh, Jenga. I put Ginga. It's with a G.
Yeah.
I look how to spell it.
Jenga. Yeah.
What are you gonna attack me with some blocks? They stack.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I love this movie. You Can't Handcuff the Wind, glorious title for a song. And I thought Julian Barratt, I think of his name, who played Richard Thorncroft, Chef's Kiss. I also have Clive, phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. Like, and I dug it, the little. At first, I thought it was gonna have this Galaxy Quest type of vibe to it, and then all of a sudden, it just branched out and had its own thing going. And yeah, and there we go. That's what I thought. So, Marcus.
All right. I will say, director Sean Foley, I am thrilled to hear that he has retired from directing and he will never spit in our faces and make another movie like this. Mindhorn was terrible. My actually favorite character was Jeffrey, and just watching him go into the black hole that he went down through. But other than that, it was it was the laziest written comedy movie there was nothing original. I've seen it all before, but there was no Julian Barratt. He didn't do anything that made me go, oh man, I'm going to remember Richard Thorncroft and Mindhorn. No, I no. Clive was funny. Yes. I got some, kind of half smiles from him. But I really felt like the movie was a big fat stinker.
That's all I can say.
Well, I guess let me share some of the things that I loved about it. I thought Mindhorn was great. Just even as a character, there was something about him that I found really charming, which was he did carry this. He carried this sense of positivity, where even though for the, he does kind of have a breakdown and a realization, right? Just that, he made some bad decisions, but he still kind of had this positivity throughout, even though he doesn't really want to go back to this island and do this thing, he does it, and he's like, I'm gonna give it my best shot, and so I thought that was really charming, and then there was just some things, I loved his little slogan in the character, which was "It's truth time." That was awesome. But then what killed me, dude, was the shoes. Every time shoes are going on, and then shoes, and then he says, I thought it was actually good writing because you had to pick up on it because he says it's like a piece of clothing that kind of makes the character or something that you hang on to. And then I realized that for him it was his shoes. And then come on, bro, you didn't like that audition when he was the Jamaican guy and he was in Uggs the first time, and then he's like, I'd like to try it again in a brogue. Kenneth Branagh was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
He got some smiles out of me. I went bald too. Yeah, but we're not talking to you. Oh, okay, no problem.
And he was praising him in that fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Footwear can define a character is what he said, actually, because I wrote that down.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And
that makes more sense.
Dude, Clive was just brilliant, man. Almost everything that he said. But where I really felt like this movie went from, it really jumped a notch, was when the Kestrel, who's the serial killer, when he dresses him up, in the costume, like to make him look like his younger self, with that like styrofoam wig, and dude, and then the rest of the movie he's in that costume because he was glued to it. Like, it was amazing. That like took it to a whole nother level. Just seeing the rest of the movie with him in that costume was brilliant.
I don't know why, but it annoyed me that he was in that costume. I'm like, all I heard was the tape, and I'm like, yo, why is he still in the goddamn costume? Like, I don't understand. Why is he in the costume to begin with? Why? Bro, I did not like Richard Thorncraft. I did not like Mindhorn, the character, and neither one of them. They were not likable in any way to me. I just was annoyed by everything he was saying or doing. Like, I think this was too much of dumb, like really dumb luck, and I don't like dumb. I don't like dumb, you know.
We've arrived at our problem here.
And you know, and the fact that he is like so into himself that he's still just going down this path of just doing dumb things, it's just dumb. And like it, there was nothing there. I really didn't find anything likable about him. Wow, that's awesome that I'm so completely on the other side.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's back up there first, and to this statement about you not liking dumb. So, like, I mean, I know you like Nacho Libre. Do you like the movie Hot Rod?
Hot Rod. Hot Rods has funny moments, but it has things that, like, I love saying I've been drinking green tea all day.
Yeah.
But like it has those one-liners. Mindhorn didn't have any of those. Like I mean, you might be saying the shoes or whatever his quote was, but I mean, I don't. There's nothing for me to quote. There was no quotable moments. Actually, no. No. I take that back. I take it back. When Clive got shot and the announcer said "classic," I died. That was my only laughing moment outside of Jeff. Whenever Jeff was on screen, I was laughing. But when he got shot, he goes "classic." I laughed at him. Like he was awesome announcing the whole thing.
Dude, no, that whole scene was awesome. When Clive gets run over by the car and he's a stunt man, and then he goes,
"I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready." Dude, I just think you need to watch it again because there really is some brilliant moments.
Like,
yeah,
I have to say one part that I thought was brilliant. Mindhorn, I forgot which part it was where he was getting ready, and there was a note on his mirror that said "Success is 1% preparation, 95% perspiration."
Yeah,
and I was like, "That's not even 100%, man."
Yeah.
But it just made me laugh because I'm like, "Oh, that's who he is."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, he thinks it all makes sense.
A lot of those jokes have been done before, and I feel like it's been done, but there was no way that made me feel like, you know, that this was for Mindhorn. I really think I just had a problem with Mindhorn because I liked a lot of when Steve Coogan came on. I was like, oh, hey, there he is. You know, I liked a lot of the side characters. It really sounds like I just didn't like Mindhorn.
So well, so did you enjoy any, like, because Kevin hit on this, you know, like he said that it's an homage to, you know, this 80s male lead in these shows, whether it's a cop show or I used to love this show called The Fall Guy, which was about a stuntman. That, like, I don't even remember it that well, but he like got involved in, I don't know, he was a secret detective. I don't know what he did, but he was a stuntman.
Yeah, and a private investigator played by Lee Majors.
Yes,
I can sing the theme song if y'all want later.
It's a great theme song. I have it on a Spotify playlist. But
oh boy,
yeah. So it definitely like throws back to that time even where these guys, I mean, they were like, you know, for lack of a better term, like they were the man, you know. So, and I think that informs with Richard Thorncraft, like why he kind of is so full of himself, but the fact that it's so ridiculous is what makes it so funny, that he still thinks he's hot, even though he's got like this massive gut and he's bald, he's wearing a wig, but he doesn't realize that he's still stuck in that world. So it was really funny. But I also I thought it was really moving, so it turns out, just to truly spoil it for everyone, that the serial killer is not actually a serial killer, but an adult male who's kind of in the mind of a 9-year-old, because it's when his parents died, and he was just obsessed with the show, and the whole time he's actually trying to reveal who the real killer is, because he's the one that knows. And so he ends up working with Mindhorn to try to solve the case. And then, at the end, when he gets shot and like dies, and Mindhorn are like having this moment, and Mindhorn's like, your parents would be proud of you. I'm proud of you. I thought even that had a little bit of heart and emotion in it that I appreciated.
Why did they make him retarded? I don't understand why they made him retarded, bro.
I don't
So he
think
can still
was.
believe in
He was
Mindhorn.
he was just like he like stopped maturing at that age because of his trauma. He
I guess, but I mean that kind of, I didn't find Melly funny. I found him quite annoying, but I feel bad because I find him annoying because he's retarded. So, am I someone that doesn't like someone who's retarded? No, I don't have any issues, but no, it didn't. I was just wondering why they would choose to do that. I mean, it didn't. It was a weird choice for me. I didn't understand him.
And I do want to clarify that you're not using that word to demean him or anything. I think it's actually, by definition, he actually is retarded. Like, his development was retarded.
No, that's not a bad word.
Yeah,
It's just that a
stunted.
lot of people
Yeah.
use it out of context. This is in context.
Yeah.
But I will say about him, like, I actually like connected with the character a lot, because growing up, me and Ken, my brother, would always like stay home by ourselves, those latchkey kids, and like we'd watch again the Fall Guy, Simon, all these other shows. And there was a part of me when I was younger who I wanted this to be real. You know what I mean? Because it was better than what we had at the time. We're like, hey, I wish this was real. I wish I was going on these adventures with the A team. Like, who wouldn't want to go in that van? You know what I mean? Or maybe one day I'll be driving and I'll see, Kit from Knight Rider. Like, and as a kid, like, with divorced parents, and my mom did a great job, but like, you just wanted these heroes to be real so bad, because like you didn't have that in your life. And I really like clicked with it. Of course, he's an adult who got stunted at that age, but like I remember being that age and wanting these things to be so real.
Well, and not only that, I mean, I think what you're saying is valid and true, especially, I mean, it's your experience, but I think even without those circumstances, even just the fact that we were kids, you're a little bit older than I am, but I still, was a fan of, because I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. So I watched a lot of these, like, even I just it was a time as a child when it wasn't so much that I wanted them to be real, as much as like I kind of just thought they were, because I was so young, like that illusion and that fantasy for me was, I still didn't know the reality of like, well, these are actors being paid, and that I remember when I was a kid, like Jean-Claude Van Damme was actually like one of my favorite movie star when I was a kid, and I loved Bloodsport and like a lot of his movies that he did. And I remember like when I first found out that like stunt doubles were a thing and that it wasn't them, and then in some of the movies it was so obvious. Like, I remember how angry and like frustrated I was that he wasn't an actual cop, really chasing after these guys and motorcycles, like so there's like
Was
sort
that
of it harps back to like that innocence of like, getting swept up in the fantasy.
Dude, that's almost as, would you say that's almost as bad as finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real?
I was gonna say that Santa Claus moment.
Yeah, I mean, I never really believed in Santa Claus, so I that probably was my Santa Claus moment. because like I honestly, like, it wasn't just that I admired some of these action guys. Like, I wanted to be them. And it was definitely devastating when you could tell on the motorcycle it was a guy in a wig, that was like supposed to. So yeah. Then how about there's at the beginning, like it's almost in the opening montage where they're doing a thing about when he was like really popular, when the show was like at its height, and then he went on this talk show, and he badmouthed like his co-star and everything. But dude, that whole scene was like so low budget. He's like on this talk show, it's just him in front of a blue wall and a couch. That's all they show in that shot, and just fake applauses, and they don't even show who's asking him the questions. Like, it was gloriously low budget, I thought, that scene.
I didn't really like the Jenga scene. I knew it was coming a mile away because no, I'm kidding. I had no idea it was coming. But when he started doing it, there was no. I really, man, I hated Mindhorn. I just hated his character.
Like, I think part of me, like, when he was doing the jingle, I'm like, oh, this is all in his mind. This can't be real. And then it would cut, because it was going slow, and then it would cut to them just watching him. And then it cut back to him still going. I'm like, oh, it is real. I'm like, it had me dying. I'm not going to lie. I was dying. It was so great.
I think it was just, he was so self-absorbed. There was no point where I was like, because at the beginning, he's kind of, would you say he's like a scumbag, a jerk?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't think so?
No, because
in the flashbacks, I think he was a jerk, like to Clive and to all those people. Yes. Like, I think he was very much a jerk.
Yes, right. And what they said, like, I guess some agent got a hold of him and promised him, a bunch of stuff in Hollywood. So he, left the show, left his agent, left his, girlfriend and everything. So yes, back in that time, yeah.
Right. So, you see this person, and I mean, do you really think he learned anything from what happened? I think he ended up getting what he wanted, So it's just knowing that this guy was a jerk to people, and then he
had a daughter.
Still, I don't know. I think
no, he didn't.
I don't know if I see your point. Maybe it's not as pronounced an arc as you see with other stories, but I think there's shades of it, because even before the film or the action of the film, that at some point he, shortly after his things had fallen apart for him, he had written all those letters to Pat.
Patricia.
Yeah, where he said he had explained why he left, and there were a lot of letters. So I kind of saw it as,
but he never seemed like that type of guy that would do that. So it just came out of nowhere, just so they can get back together.
I guess for me, it's that moment had to have happened at, like, it is like he's aware.
That's a really sweet thing to do. He's not a sweet guy.
Well, I'm saying, like, what I empathize with, I guess, is that I think he's in between of, like, knowing that this is his reality, that he is a failed actor who's not really going to get any more, small parts, but this is probably also all he knows, and still kind of, being in between, not really being able to fully accept that, I think, to maybe by the end of it, kind of, I don't know, maybe hopefully seeing that, because I don't think there's any more major roles that are going to come around for him still. Maybe he'll write a book about what happened or whatever, but I think it was not necessarily, to your point, maybe not like this major redemptive arc, but just kind of, I think there's other redeeming qualities in there for me that I appreciated, and were enough for me to say, I kind of didn't have the animosity, towards the character that you did. I kind of saw him differently as as someone a little bit like to be pitied. You know, I do see his cockiness and whatnot at one point, but I think even from the beginning, when I mean, you see how bald he is and how like out of shape he is, and like he's wearing this you know, this gut I forget what you call them, you know, this thing to like suck in his gut that
Yeah.
he also sold. So it was like right off the bat, I'm like, okay, this is clearly like a guy to be pitied, and any sort of like confidence that he has or cockiness or whatever, it's clearly like a survival or like defense mechanism to you know, he needs something to like keep going because he's got nothing.
Yeah. Kevin, before I say, because I got two things I want to say before I say anything. Do you want to jump in? Because you've been quiet. I feel like I've
All
been
right.
talking over. Go.
All right. The one thing I would say I liked about him is whether it's fake confidence or not, I thought he was very unashamedly himself.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
that's good.
Even when he in the phone call, he's like, "No, we're gonna let it ring. We're gonna let it ring." All right, now he's like, "Oh, hello." He's like, "Oh, he hung up." Oh, wait. Oh, can we call him back? But no, and it sort of reminded me at one point, like when y'all were talking, like I was just picturing what y'all were talking about, like in a way, and again, it's not exactly, but like Austin Powers, like it was just a character who was just
Yeah.
himself, and like he just was himself, and he would just be in every situation, and it would mess things up because it wasn't the right way to behave.
Yeah.
But Austin
You know what I
Powers
mean?
was a genuinely nice character.
Yeah, and again, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same, but just about how much they were just unashamedly themselves.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then it did come to the point where, you know, he did like want to believe the Kestrel. You know what I mean? And when he died, he was I do think that generally impacted his character, and he did want to, hey, let's clear this kid's name because he's not the one who's responsible for this murder. You know what I mean? And that was a very selfless act because he could have left. He was getting ready to get on the plane.
Yeah. So you didn't think oh dude, also the Play-Doh stuff was so funny. First when she picks up the phone, it's plasticine. And then he gets so mad when the videotape is also Play-Doh. He flips out.
But it's like, what are you expecting from a person that has the mind of a 9-year-old?
Exactly.
And then that fake wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Truth powder.
So I think that one of a joke that was absolutely ruined by the movie itself is when Melly dies, and you know, Mindhorn gives this great pep talk and speech, and then he closes his eyes and he goes, "I'm Richard Thorncroft," and like he opens his eyes and closes again. That was funny because it's like, oh man, he died hearing Mindhorn's Mindhorn. But now he died knowing that he's Richard Thorncroft. So that was a funny joke. And then they wrote in the credits when they credit Melly, they say he survived. And I went, oh, so it wasn't. Oh, all right. So there goes that joke. So that really did bother me. I don't know why it did, but that was a good joke that they ruined themselves for some odd reason. We didn't need to know that he survived. We've moved past like thinking about Nelly and oh man, I can't believe he died. Nobody thinks that. Well, at least I didn't think that.
I didn't know that he survived.
Yeah, it said
the
it
little
in the
cartoon credits. Yeah.
It said he survived.
Which I totally forgot to you mentioned right now, Mark.
Because I thought that was a good joke. Like if I was like, oh, that was a good joke, and then they ruined it. The other thing that was a little jarring, and I guess this is what kind of maybe took me out of the movie, is that the jump from him looking the way he is to them being bald and having a huge gut. Like it, to me, it felt like he fell down and he was in a coma for like years. And then he wakes up and then he picks up where he, had left off. But I don't know how much time passed, but it was jarring to see him with no hair. And I was just like, wait a minute, I had to rewind it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, between that dream, I guess I figured out it was a dream scene, and then seeing that distorted face of who's that face? Who's that supposed to be? Oh, was that the guy who killed, who actually committed the crime? Maybe that's who it was. Remember that dream sequence
Dude, you're in the zone right now with yourself. I'm just trying to keep up.
Yeah, I was like,
So
where are we going?
you remember the dream sequence, right? And
Which
then
one?
when he's right after they catch Melly and he falls over, thud, and
Oh, okay, and he's like
and
in the
then
hospital.
yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
hospital. He's with
Yeah.
Pat.
Oh yeah.
And she's interviewing him, and then she
Yeah.
gets all on top of him, and that's
Yeah, it's
um
the killer, yeah, because he was on the TV.
right.
Mhm.
So that threw me off because then he opens his eyes and he's bald, and Jeffrey comes on screen, luckily. But yeah, so he's bald, and I was just like, wait a minute, was he in a coma? I don't understand why is he bald? So I think that threw me off, and then it became a shtick that he was bald, and I don't know.
But he was bald at the beginning
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
when he was in front of the mirror. That's the first
Yeah.
shot where he was like trimming
Yeah.
his mustache.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then when he got to the island and he was making his way up to maybe the police station, to the police station, the wind like knocked off his wig and he put it back on real quick.
His toupee.
Oh, so what I was saying in the dream sequence when Pat's all over him and she gets really close and she starts talking, her face, remember, transforms into another face.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who it was until right now. I think that it just dinged for me. It was the guy that actually committed the crime. It was his face.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, like, who the hell's face is that?
But that's what I'm saying. Do you know why it was his face?
Because he was the one that actually committed the crime, right?
No, because he was on the TV in the hospital room.
Oh,
you didn't know yet that he was the killer, but so it was like, you ever had one of those moments where like you're still asleep, but the TV's on or something, so like that turns up in your dream. Yeah, that's what had happened.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
So, but
that whole sequence is very weird. The way it just transitioned like that.
It took me a second too. It definitely took me a second because I was like, "Whoa, why?" Because he also like it's his face, but like in Pat's in like a wig. Yeah. So it also like messes with your mind a little bit. But they I think the next shot is like of him talking on the TV.
I believe so. But see, it was so far away from his face that I couldn't really put the two together. But now that I'm thinking about it, that's who it was. Sorry, I'm gonna get off my train now. I just went my
No. We caught up. We caught up.
Yeah, you guys were confused when I was describing the dream.
I didn't know you were talking to us when you said that. I was like, is he still going?
That was like an inside outside thing. I was talking in my head, but like talking to you guys too.
Yeah. Overall, though, I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen Julian Barratt in anything else before. And it looks like he also co-wrote the screenplay. So I don't know if he's like really famous in England, I'm assuming, but I would definitely watch more of his stuff. I think he's a good actor, came up with a good character. And good English writing. So yeah.
That's interesting. I just looked him up, and he was in a show called The Mighty Boosh.
Yeah.
Which I've heard a lot about. So that was interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, you used to say something with the Mighty
Boosh. I used to say Boosh. No, I used to say Boosh. Like he hit it Boosh. That's where I got it from when I heard it from there. But yeah, interesting.
So there is a difference between a wig and a toupee?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Explain.
Yeah. Well, a wig, I believe, and this is why I'm looking at the official definition. A wig is that fully covers your whole head and everything. Like females wear wigs. So a toupee is a piece that'll cover like the balding spot and whatnot.
Oh, that's like the head rug.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a small wig or quote unquote wig or artificial hairpiece worn to cover just a bald spot. So a wig would cover the whole head.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's good to
You
know.
learn something today.
Yeah, I learned something. Hopefully, someone else listening will learn something. But all right, I guess it sounds like unless there's any final thoughts, I think we can go into our reviews or ratings rather.
I'm fresh out.
So, Juan, you gonna go first?
Sure. So yeah, like I said, I definitely enjoyed it. I agree with Mark that it definitely is a dumb comedy, but I have been known to enjoy those when they're done well. Again, I love Hot Rod um, and others along those lines. So yeah, I'm glad that I you know took the time to watch this again, pay more attention this time that I wasn't falling asleep. Enjoyed the character, enjoyed the plot and the arc, and the writing. Um, I mean, I hope Clive at some point gets his own standalone movie because that dude was brilliant and hilarious. Um, so yeah, I mean, I liked it. Let's see. I'm gonna go. It's a 2 is a mess, so it's definitely more than a 2 for me. But we only go up to 3, so this is where our ratings get tough. I'm gonna go with a 2.25. Definitely not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but I even as I think back, it makes me want to watch it again. So this is definitely probably one that I will watch again, and that I enjoyed and that I would recommend. If you have an hour and a half to watch a dumb British comedy, and you remember these types of 80s characters, you'll probably enjoy it and appreciate it.
Well spoken, my friend. Well spoken. So I'm gonna go next. I love the movie. I enjoy the performances. I would definitely watch it again. I would recommend it to people to watch. I'd be like, "Hey, do you want to watch this movie? Can I come over and watch it with you?" It was fun. It wasn't. I didn't have to invest too much into it. I was entertained. It was, like I said, it was about an hour and a half or so. It got to the point. Yeah. So for me, it's going to be a 3 because it marks every little criteria I would want. Don't you? Wait, are you my 3?
I
Hold
just
on.
got kicked in the stomach. I wasn't expecting it.
I'll say it again. I'll be honest. I'm not used to being on this side with Juan because usually it's me and Marc agreeing and Juan not. But I like it. I like it, Juan. I like it on this side of the fence. But it knocks off everything that I wish I had this as a DVD or Blu-ray in my collection. So if I ever bust those things out again, I could own it. So there you go.
Did you watch this one with the girls?
Oh no, because I didn't watch with the girls because I didn't know what it was going to. It said TVMA or something.
Oh,
so since it was British, I didn't know if they were gonna get sexual or something. Like, I'll watch it first.
I wonder why you think that was because of the drugs. Because there was no nudity or there was no sex or nudity.
They killed people. That's probably why. That's
wasn't
probably
that
why.
gory.
Those Brits are sensitive. They don't even have guns in that country. The cops don't.
Yeah. No, but I don't think it wasn't gory. But I think the fact that when they shot what's his name, Jeff. Didn't they shoot Jeff?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff got killed. Yeah.
Like they're just like blah. I'm like, it doesn't have to be gory. It's just showing killing. So I think that's why I got the. Again, I have no problem rewatching this with the girls. You know what I mean? But I didn't watch it with them initially. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mind blowing to me. I mean, I could definitely see an R, but an MA, that's weird.
I'm gonna give this one little Jerry for the amount of times I plan on watching this, and I think you know what, Kevin, you gave a great suggestion on what you should go see instead of Mindhorn. Go watch Austin Powers. There's a bunch of great movies to pick from, and they're all better than this movie. It's there was nothing likable about the main character. I guess if you're gonna if you're at gunpoint and you're being forced to watch this by Juan and Kevin, then sure, you'll enjoy the side characters. But Mindhorn, the character, and Richard Thorncroft, not enjoyable. It was a bore to watch, and I think there's much better out there for your wonderful time that is oh so valuable.
Mark, be
No,
honest.
no,
Be
no.
honest.
Okay,
Be honest with the
okay.
people.
Yeah.
You just don't like British people.
Do
you have any British friends?
Damn, you got me there. I don't actually. I don't, and that is my fault because I have missed opportunities.
You bigoted bastard.
That's yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sticking by my review though, so
I knew that was coming when I saw you earlier, by the way.
a rating.
I don't want to talk about it. I want to save it for later. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good.
Sorry. No, please. I'm gonna actually just go watch. I'm gonna watch Austin Powers to hopefully delete this brain from my movie. My brain from my movie.
Oh boy, it's time to go.
You gotta love it. Oh man. And with that, I'm out of here.
Well, listen, I'm very satisfied that Kevin gave it a 3. That's yeah, Kevin's right. We rarely agree, which is still surprising to me.
Yeah,
but
I bet you Kevin will say that to my face next time he sees me.
But those are facts. So, all right. Well,
I will say I appreciated your rewatching because I would have been on this island alone. And I would have been fighting y'all.
Yeah, for real. All right. Well, I thank you, gentlemen, for your thoughts, for your time, for your energy, your friendship, your vitality, Anyway, yeah. Till next time. We have Kevin's selection up next. That could be a mixed bag. We'll see.
Bag of cats, baby.
We'll see what comes out of that. But no doubt we will be right here in the same place, ready to go to linguistic. No, that's not right. Just verbal battle about it.
Okay.
All right. Well, Iron Eagle out.
Love you.